Hi,
Hello.
guys, and welcome to another episode of Witches and Wine. I'm Silent as Stardust, host for this evening. Lola is with us in the audience, but she wants a night off, so I'm more than happy to fill in for her. And we have lovely Isleen joining us this evening as our guest. But before we get into the actual conversation, we've missed you guys, and we're happy to be back. We've been really busy these last few weeks, Spring Mysteries and a few other things going on just in life and in Coven.
Life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where we apologize for not being around and having the episodes up lately, but we'll fix it. We're going to get back on track. And tonight we're going to talk about,
Dedication to deities.
yes,
Deity dedication.
yeah, and what that means, what that entails, um, and how it's a personal sacrifice and realization that you come through it. But before we get into that, let's talk about the wine we're drinking this evening.
Wine time.
Our coven mate, our lovely Willow, brought us this back from her vacation she was just on recently. It is a Cinso from Waving Tree Winery.
Oh, we don't have a webcam?
Out of Goldendale, Washington. If you've never had a Cinso, this is a French grape. Uh, very dry on the finish. Got nice cherry notes, nice floral notes, and a very light fruity wine for soft palates and on a really light summer afternoon lunch. And Lola is just being ridiculous trying to cover our Isleen's face for absolutely no reason.
She has a cup under her chin and in, and out.
Just because we float in wine doesn't mean we actually need to float in wine.
Yeah, she does.
So let's go ahead and get a clink and drink started because we're all ready.
Clink and drink.
And you see, I'm doing the
Doesn't
plastic
really
cup.
clink.
We have broken so many glasses recently as a coven that we were down to just 3 or 4 real
As
glasses.
a singular person,
Okay, I have broken.
not as a coven. One other coven member broke her glass, but
Well, we have broken chalices from No Names, Isleen.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's okay, we do.
I replaced it.
You did, and you're drinking out of it now, and we appreciate
No, it
that.
was that one over there.
Oh,
It was on the altar. Not this one. It was the other one. I replaced it. It's not as good as the original, but I brought something that was replaced it
absolutely.
until I work on something else.
So, our conversation, dedication to Deity. We just went through Spring Mysteries as a coven, at least most of our coven recently, and which was last weekend. And you
can you
had
explain what Spring Mysteries
so
is?
Spring
real
Mysteries
quick?
is a recreation of the Eleusinian Mysteries. It is put on by the Aquarian Tabernacle Church every year. It's Easter weekend. Absolutely look into it. It is at springmysteries.com.
I think so. There is no word.
This is a Spring Mysteries Festival.
Yeah, Spring Mysteries Festival, and it is an absolutely wonderful production event that goes on by the Aquarian Tabernacle Church. It allows you to talk with deity, learn experiences and lessons, and because it is the mysteries, we can't tell you much more than that. It's part of the
It's like a pagan passion play.
yeah, but it's a commitment that you give to not.
We are sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, we don't give away the mysteries. It's something you must experience, and it's a different experience for every person. So, what I describe for me is not experiencing what you experience, not what Derek, your husband, experienced, not what Lola, my wife, experienced, not what our other coven mates experienced. So it's not right for me to say this is what you're gonna experience.
Mm-hmm.
But while we were there, you get to speak with deities.
Yep, you get an opportunity to have a little conversation with them. You get an opportunity to dedicate for like a year and a day, or do a dedication for longer than that, and what have you.
So we care to explain in generic terms for people, not get too in depth what you got to experience.
We'll see what I can do.
Because we all understand dedication to Coven, solitary dedication to deity, but when you subscribe and dedicate to a singular deity by name, you are asking them to guide you for the next X amount of time.
X amount of time, which oftentimes has You can set limitations on it. In my case, it did not happen to be that way. But this is how it was intended to be. Just because that's the way that it turned out to be. I wasn't going to argue with it.
And this was not what you were thinking heading into this. You had a whole other mindset and deity concepts that you thought you were going to be speaking with and working with that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And something came out of the left field and
kind of threw me for a loop. Yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting experience because it wasn't necessarily something. It's a deity I've worked with before. I'm not going to even name names.
No.
It's a
The
deity
names
I've
aren't
worked with
important in
before.
this situation.
But not in any sort of major in-depth type of working. And when we had done a meditation before, and I had gone in and visited that particular shrine, and so I kind of had an inkling that I would go see it, that deity, and what came to pass is I did end up going and seeing this one. I had two. The other one I didn't go see because I just couldn't bring myself to do so.
Okay.
And I had the offering that I was going to give, and I'm standing in the line, and like it just became very apparent what I needed to do. So I was just kind of rolling with that.
Okay. And did you present it, or did it have it presented to you by those that work for the deity?
Yes.
So a little of each, where
Yeah.
you were approached as well as you had honestly considered it on your own.
I had been somewhat considering some things on my own. I didn't necessarily consider doing an actual dedication itself.
Okay.
I just figured it would be like a little visit and like, hey, we're going to have a cool conversation and it'll be awesome. And it wasn't until I was standing in line that it became very clear to me because I had I heard something. It comes internal heard and saw something internal, mind's eye saw something, but it was just clear that this is what I needed to do.
Okay, so you have this getting ready to go into the shrine to talk to the deity. You have this in your head. You have the attendant to the shrine and that deity talking to you, suggesting said things. You walk into the shrine and you talk to the deity. What's the experience?
It was different. It was just different. This is where it becomes hard to really share because it's so personal.
Well, no, I'm talking the overview, the feeling,
because you get one-on-one time.
Yeah.
You get one-on-one time.
Well, I'm not talking about the messages. I don't want.
Yeah.
Your message was what you needed to hear and what was right for you. But
you're in a space that was created specifically for that.
I'm asking more for the feeling, what the exhilaration or the nervousness that you get with you expressing to that you were presenting yourself to them for their service. I don't like I said, I don't need to know what you spoke about because that's right for you,
right?
And that's your experience, and that's not going to be right for myself or anyone else on our show, in our audience. But it's more about being able to convey that experience. So if someone's interested down in the future, they can kind of have a generic concept of what they're going to feel when they go through this.
I was nervous, also in part because I had been having a bad day up until that point too. So it was just kind of like I was TLMing and I wasn't really happy. And
do you think that maybe brought you to the level where you could appreciate what was being presented to you?
Yes, I think so. And I even knew that in the moment when I was experiencing some of those things, like that thought came to me of this is perhaps for this specific reason. And but it still doesn't make it suck less when you're in the moment.
Well, hell no.
It still sucks now. Yeah. And I don't want to feel this way right now, even if there's some lesson involved, because this right now sucks.
But you're in a much better place than you were at the start of that day.
Mm-hmm.
And you were by that evening. I know those of us that were there with you saw the change. And we're not going to give anything away because that's, like I said, not appropriate for us. But when you made that dedication, like you said, we've spoken about where sometimes you dedicate for a year and a day, and sometimes it's open-ended. Yours was
Mine was open-ended, which surprised me because, again, with my planning tendencies, that's not something I generally go into. And it was confirmed later that was what was meant to be. It's meant to be open-ended. We will have conversations about this in the future, when things change, as they always do.
So after you did this and you dedicated, how did your mindset change for you and the rest of the festival?
At first there was definitely a little bit of like disbelief because it was like I can't believe that just happened. But it did make me a lot more perceptive, I think, to some of the other experiences that were going on. That in the past I may have missed out on in some sort of capacity because I was just more open to it and I was just more aware. There was a certain awareness that was going on because of that shift, because of that change. Yeah, I don't know, because it was definitely, this particular festival was definitely a different experience for me in a lot of ways.
And that's what's wonderful about Spring Mysteries.
It's always different. It's the same and different.
And every year it's something different. I have had times where it was all about fun and letting loose, and I've had other times where it was all about sacrificing Deity and everything in between from in those two extremes.
And everyone has their own lessons, and
exactly.
Everyone's learning their own lessons along the path, and all lessons are holy, particularly the hard ones.
And the messages that you receive that come through the passion play and the experiences hit people at different points, and it's interesting to see. Because I know, like, for Lola's case, she had an experience that she's never had before, and in all the years we've gone to Spring Mysteries.
You want me to tell you about it?
Yeah, would you care to tell us?
Yeah.
Care to tell us about it? I can share. I have. There's
we can scoot a cheek or two.
There's screen.
You're okay. Your husband's here. You're okay.
Hi.
So there's Lola. She just wanted to be an audience member and get to enjoy the other side of Witches and Wine for once.
Yeah, because so I was part of me and my husband were part of stage managing, and we did a lot of the behind the scenes. So our experience was very, very different, and it taught me about that sacrifice you make to the gods and that service you give.
A different form
because
of dedication.
If you don't choose it, they choose for you.
Yes, they do. Absolutely. So, and then I had, so I had that, but then I got to go to the, we can't talk about that, but I had a moment where I had to start accepting my crone phase in my life because I'm perimenopausal. I'm 47. We experience menopause or perimenopause very early. So I've been struggling with aging, and because, okay, I'm not going to lie. My whole life, I've always looked younger than I am.
You still do.
Well, thank you. But I don't feel like I do, but that's okay. And
you do. You don't look your age. I won't say that number because I'm respectful and love you.
Yeah.
She already just said it.
Well, that's fine. But even for me, aging, like even if I'm looking like 40-year-old should look, I'm 47. It's still weird because I've always had like very youthful skin, a very youthful look, and so all this stuff is happening, and I'm having I'm being vain. I'm not gonna lie. My vanity is getting to me, and so I had moments with the experiences at Spring Mysteries where I had to face my crone phase, and I need to accept that and be fine with that. And I am in a lot of ways, but I was brought up in a very vain family. My mother's very vain, and my brother is very vain. They're all very good looking, beautiful people. And I always prided myself that I'm not vain. But when it comes to, you are the prettiest one.
I'm with the prettiest one.
Oh, you're with the prettiest one?
That's what I said.
You have to say that. You're my husband.
I'm a smart husband.
He's very smart. He's very educated. So clink and drink to educated men that love their wives
and
so
appreciate
much.
Their beauty.
Anyway, so
I had
my experience, and I'm working through it. and it's not going to be resolved in one day, but it was brought up, and I'm happy with that. And I got to see the back end view and the behind the scenes, and that was really cool.
And how did that
And I
help,
like that.
how did that help you as a priestess? Because I know it helped me as a priest, but what did you get out of that as a priestess?
Well, as a high priestess of a coven, you always do the back end work. You're not up front doing all the magical work. You're organizing everything. So on a bigger scale, I was like, oh, that makes sense. So it just added to my high priestess mode, and I was able to see it on a bigger scale than just with our coven. Because with our coven, I'm always like, and I try to balance. I want to work. That's why, sometimes I'm like, let other members run shit, so I can step back and go, yay, magic. So there was that, but sometimes you don't get the yay magic. But at the same time, you're contributing to that magic, and I have a chip down my shirt.
I'll get that later, sweetie.
Jesus Christ.
As long as it's not poking you, just leave it.
What is it?
I'll take care of that.
Stop stealing Silence's snacks.
It's yes.
It's put it
away.
Put it away.
I am. I'm trying to warm it up.
That's what it,
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm going. It helped with High Priestess because I realized that on a small scale, I'm doing what on a bigger scale Spring Mysteries does, and I was able to be a part of that. And I think it was a perfect timing because I'm learning as a High Priestess to organize and get into that energy, and so it made me appreciate that energy. I'm done. Bye.
To follow up on that, my experience. Oh, good. We have Derek coming in next.
Derek!
This is Lane's husband, Derek.
Oh.
He's our dedicate, one of our
All right,
dedicates.
he's one of our dedicates and amazing
So,
gentleman.
I'm sitting on the dog.
Not a euphemism.
No, it really wasn't for once.
I have
no,
the boobs out.
Bring him
Cool.
out, sweetie. Let him
Look
breathe.
at sidetrack.
The breast. How do you not look at the beautiful big breasts?
Your wife
So-
isn't going to get mad. It's just my boobs.
So here's the thing. That was fantastic, Lola, but it was also entirely off topic. So
Is it
dedication
you
to the gods. Now,
Oh, she's right there.
dedication to a single god is an oddity in polytheism, so we would think.
Not in the least bit though, because you have all the different. You have the Maenads, the Hierophants,
Well,
all
All
the
this stuff and things.
all the Athenian shrine attendants.
A
And the Vestal
polycentric,
versions.
Yeah,
a polycentric reading of Proculus instead of a monocentric, which is where classical theism comes from, but a polycentric reading of Proculus would indicate that as the Greeks called the gods monads, meaning the one, basically, but yet multiple. The gods are all things unto themselves uniquely. So Zeus is all things in a Zeus sort of way. Poseidon is all things in a Poseidon sort of way.
Hades
Each
devoid of all
one
things.
containing its own thing. And if you look back, a devotee of Poseidon went to Poseidon for all things.
Yeah.
Didn't discount the other gods, but went to a particular god for everything. And that
I'm
is
watching
what
it.
devotion is.
I'm aware. Thanks, sweetie. Okay, so for you coming from the background that you come from to where you're at now, how is the experience of the concept of dedicating to a single deity and watching your wife do this?
Watching my wife dedicate.
Because you guys have
Yes, I was going.
because you guys have been together 20 years ish.
Yeah.
What, give or take a year either direction. Don't. So seeing her go from
They've been together for 5,000 years, and they have 500 children.
So, Silenus, here's the thing, okay? So, we've been together 20 years, so she's been dedicated to one for 20 years. What's so odd, right?
no, but seeing her give herself in the witch generic concept of working with Hecate and other deities to dedicate to a single deity. What change have you seen in her behavior or activities in the last week that let you know that something's a little different?
Aside from just assimilating back to Muggle world.
What?
I love
It's
my
always
wife.
hard to
I love my wife, but I will say that most of it's been kind of, oh my god, what the fuck did I do? That's normal.
So you got to see the panic mode of a realization setting in for her.
Yes.
Okay. How can you support her through this undetermined amount of time of this dedication?
Well, I always offer support, but aside from hand bras,
She's pig nosing you.
she's pig nosing me.
I don't know why.
Come on. I don't even,
Okay. So in that experience,
it's
you like to speak to her deity's spouse and had an experience with them that you relate to us. We won't go into depth of it, but how do you think that might pertain to what's going to be down her path over the next X amount of time?
no idea, but
It's gonna be a fun ride.
it always is.
Oh, sorry.
Balance in all things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, awesome. Well, it was nice of you to come in and express your experience and your different aspect and view of it, because being a spouse, you get to look at it in a different
So
aspect.
can you guys point out that you don't have to dedicate to just one god?
No, absolutely
No,
not.
no,
No.
Dedication is
And
not
dedication
mandatory.
to one God doesn't necessarily exclude dedication to
The
another.
others.
Well, no. Just remember though, the more that God you dedicate to, the more work you get to do.
Yeah, I'm smart because like I'm dedicated to Hecate, and I could dedicate to other gods or goddesses, but
Don't overload yourself.
Hecate has a lot for me, and that's my thing. I would love to work with Persephone and Aphrodite, and I do. I work with them in my, especially Aphrodite. She's in our home, and she's someone that's very important to me because I need to feel that love of her, and I sometimes will dedicate a week to her, or an hour, or a day, and it doesn't matter because that's important. You're still dedicating, so there's no like time limit that you have to do it. Like we have the traditional year and a day, but I feel it's important to point out that it's for whatever works. Hi.
Can you
Hi.
slide
What
the
do you
table
guys
over?
need to do?
Drinks.
Right.
Slide the table over
You
just
want-
a little bit.
Let me slide this over and go behind the table.
There you are,
You're
boy.
welcome.
Hi, boys.
Hello. Hello.
We have our sons and one of our sons'
Our
friends.
Filipino son.
Our Filipino sons, we refer to him as joining us for the evening in the house. He's
So-
been referred to this as for years as our Filipino son.
Nice.
You
Yes.
want to?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. So
We need another clink and drink.
another clink and drink,
Drink.
clink and drink of
Let's
that.
clink and drink to Children of the Crossroads.
So to the crossroads.
We rule.
Absolutely. So you've been home for, like I said, almost a week now after you went through this experience. What has changed for you in the last little bit, and how do you think it's going to change going forward? And then we'll wrap it up with
Want to
this.
wave on the camera?
Because we can refer back
It'll
to
be
it
on
later.
YouTube. Wave. Just our kids are gonna wave.
Right now,
So
it's just
hold on, we got two hands coming in. Brent, go ahead and bring your hand in.
Wave.
That's
Wave
Cole
at it.
first. And you see his hair in over the corner. And Brent, come over. There's
Hello.
Cole.
Hi, people.
oh yeah.
And there's Brent's hand. All right, thank you, boys. You guys go
Our
ahead.
inappropriate children.
Yep, go ahead and play some more video games.
Here's my hand up close if you needed to know.
I'm taking the ball.
Yeah, we're taking.
Thank you, boys.
Love you.
So, in back to the Muggle world mundane, what's it been like knowing that this deity is alongside you and asking you to work with them?
It seems like certain things have opened up. I've had some like channels cleared up, which will help me in the not so distant future. I don't want to go into details.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm looking
Lots of
That was a
lots
preview.
and lots and lots and lots of freaking dream work and dream journaling has been happening.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I've been processing a lot in my dreams, and it's been just a lot of processing. Still a lot of processing. I'm still working on a couple of things, and I know there are some things that I need to like adapt and change to make work. But yeah, I'm I'm still processing some stuff, but
So-
it's coming too.
So you know that you have a whole bunch of shit coming your way because you've done this.
Well, Persephone is
Hey.
transformation and change. So, hello.
Well,
Shit's gonna go down now.
thanks for putting the cat on the bag.
Yeah,
Are
we
you
hadn't
shushing
said that yet.
We had been very, very opaque about telling. We can edit that part out if we need
All
to.
right.
Except that we're live.
Oh,
No.
shit,
We're
live.
live.
So we
Okay,
can't.
so
High five.
High five.
Inappropriate
Well, why can't you tell people?
because we were
I
trying
totally
to be as
can,
obtuse
but
as
I was
possible.
being obtuse.
Oh, obtuse
Being
shop news.
obscure.
And
I think you're actually quite cute.
thank you for using obtuse with me. Double high five.
Obtuse schmobtuse.
So thank you guys for everything, joining us again. If you ever want to get a hold of us to join us for an episode or to be a guest or to come visit us, you can reach us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
what's that?
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Remember, walk with the goddess, be kind to one another, and until next time, blessed be click and drink. Bye. Someone shut that shit.
Spacebar.
We gotta end the stream.
I'm looking for the button.
It's the red one down at the bottom.
This is end
Push the
stream.
button.
Those are words.
Are you shutting off? Right? You're still